Hello, everybody. I'm Parsha Becky. Welcome back to Parsha. As I'm sure you recall, we are currently in the middle of reading the fourth book of Chumash, the book of Bamidbar. Bamidbar means in the desert, and for the whole book of Bamidbar, the Jewish people are traveling in the desert on our way from Egypt, where we left in the book of Shemot, to get to our home of Israel. The name of this week's Parsha is Chukat, which means the rule. And it is called that because it starts off by saying this is the rule regarding a red cow. Because, like all cows have fur on their body. Most have brown fur or black and white fur. But it is possible for a cow to have all red fur. And there is a special rule for this red-head cow for a special sacrifice that can be done with it. And the point of this special sacrifice with the gingy cow is that its ashes can then be used to be added to water to make some very purifying water that will purify people who aren't able to go into the Mishkan so that they can now enter the Mishkan. Super useful cow. Thanks, Gingy cow. So after we get the rule about the Gingy cow, we go back to the story. We're going through the desert, and heads up, you know how a couple weeks ago in Parsha we learned that after the spies, the Jewish people are going to be in the desert for 40 years? Well, those 40 years are now up. It's basically the end of the 40 years by the time this week's Parsha starts. So we're going through the desert, and Moshe's sister Miriam dies. She reaches the end of her life, and she's buried in the desert. We keep moving. And as people are traveling through the desert, people start to complain. And they say, I'm thirsty. I'm so thirsty. Moshe, why did you bring us to the desert where there's no water? Moshe and Aaron, it's not nice. And Moshe and Aaron pray to Hashem, like, Hashem, we don't know what to do. People want water. And Hashem says, here's what you're going to do. Take your stick, gather the people, talk to the people about that rock over there, uh, get water out of the rock, and give the water to the people to drink. So Moshe and Aaron take the stick, they gather the people, they say, hey, listen up, you whiny rebels! You want us to get you water out of that rock over there? Huh? Huh? Is that what you want? You want some rock water? Well, then fine, we'll give you some. And Moshe hits the rock with his stick twice, and water comes gushing out of the rock, and people drink. And Hashem says, Moshe and Aaron, technically you followed my instructions, so you did the right thing, but in the wrong way, because you missed an opportunity. You could have used this as a chance to really, really sanctify Hashem, to make everyone see how special and holy and powerful God is, but you didn't believe in Hashem enough to make the people believe in Hashem more. What a waste of an opportunity. So I can see from this, Hashem says, that you two are not the right people to lead the Jewish people into Israel. You've done a great job as leaders up until now, but I can see that it's soon going to be time for some new blood. So Moshe and Aaron are not going to go into Israel. Someone else will lead the Jewish people into Israel. You two won't get to go. And we continue traveling through the desert. And we're like almost in Israel, but there's a country in the way, a country called Edom. So Moshe sends messengers to the king of Edom to ask nicely, saying, listen, we're the Jewish people. We left Egypt where we were enslaved. We want to get to our home of Israel. Can we please take a shortcut through your country? And the king of Edom says, no. And the messengers negotiate. They say, listen, we promise we will stay on the main road. We're not going to walk through anyone's private property. We're not going to trespass. We are not going to use any of your stuff or any of your country's resources. We'll pay for any water that we or our animals drink, any food that we eat. We won't touch anything. We won't damage anything. We won't use anything. Please, we promise we'll behave ourselves. Please just let us walk through. And the king of Edom says, no means no. And if you try to enter my country, I will fight you. And he puts his whole army along the border to keep us out. So the Jewish people take the long way around, going all the way around the country of Edom. It's going to make this 40-year journey a little bit longer. And as we're going around, we reach a mountain called Mountain. Its full name is Mount Mountain, the Mountain of Mountain, also known as Hor HaHar in Hebrew, Mount Mountain. And Hashem says, Moshe, Aaron, and Aaron's son Elazar have to go up this mountain. So they go up. And at the top of the mountain, Aaron reaches the end of his life. Aaron passes away at the top of the mountain. Moshe takes Aaron's Kohen Gadol uniform and he puts it onto Elazar. And Moshe and Elazar come down the mountain without Aaron. All the people understand that Aaron is no longer with them. And they stay there for 30 days to mourn for Aaron, to think about how great he was and how much they're going to miss him. They're very sad. And then we keep traveling on, still taking the long way around. And another king, the king of a place called Arad, attacks the Jewish people and he takes some people captive. We're like, whoa, you can't just take our people prisoner. And the Jewish people pray to Hashem. They say, hey, Hashem, if you help us win against this king of Arad and get our people back, we promise we will give all his stuff to Hashem. We're not going to try to keep anything. We're not in this for the money. We just want to save our friends. So Hashem helps the Jewish people win the fight against the king of Arad. We get our people back, and sure enough, we give all his stuff to Hashem. And we keep traveling through the desert, taking the long way around. And I'm sure this has happened to the best of us. Sometimes like you're on a really long walk or a really long road trip and it's past your bedtime. It's been hours since you ate. You're getting tired. You're getting cranky. And somebody starts to say, are we there yet? And that's what happens in the Parsha. The people are like, are we there yet? I'm so tired of walking in the desert. I want to be there already. Moshe, you and Hashem are so bad. Why do you bring us to this awful desert? I hate it here. There is no food and there is no water. And we hate this disgusting food. Hang on now. What's wrong with this picture? There's no food, there's no water, and we hate the food. I think you got it. They can't both be true. Either there is no food or there is food and you don't like it. So obviously at least one of these three complaints is a lie, maybe even more. And so Hashem sends fiery venomous serpents, venomous snakes, to bite the people who are making up complaints. And the people get sick from their venomous snake bites. And they don't like that. So they go to Moshe and they apologize. They say, Moshe, we're sorry for making up complaints about you and Hashem. That wasn't fair of us. It wasn't nice. Please pray to Hashem and make the snake bites go away. So Moshe prays to Hashem, and Hashem says, okay, Moshe, here's what you're going to do. I want you to make a statue of a snake, like a big, big, tall statue of a snake, and mount it up on a pole. And anyone who got bitten by a snake can look up at your snake statue, and then they will be healed. So Moshe builds a giant copper snake statue. He puts it up on a pole, and all the people who are suffering from snake bites, they look up at the snake statue, and Hashem heals them. So we continue traveling through the desert, and at one point, like all the leaders help to dig a well, and all the people sing a song about how amazing this well of water is. We keep going, and finally, again, we're like almost at Israel after taking the whole long way. But again, there's one country in between us and Israel. So the Jewish people send messengers to the king of this country, the king named Sichon, and they say, dear King Sichon, we are the Jewish people. We left Egypt where they enslaved us. We would like to go to our home country of Israel. Please let us take a shortcut through your country. We promise we will stay on the main road. We won't trespass. We won't bother anyone. We will pay money for any food or water that we or our animals eat or drink. We won't touch anything. We won't use anything. We won't damage anything. Please let us cross through. And instead of answering with a yes or a no, King Sichon takes his whole army and attacks the Jewish people. Fortunately, Hashem helps the people win the fight. We win against Sichon and we end up getting to keep his whole land. And then another king named Og attacks the Jewish people with his whole army, like, completely unprovoked. We didn't even talk to him. And Hashem's like, listen, I know this Og guy is like big and strong and scary, but don't be scared. I'm going to help you win. You're going to beat him easily. And sure enough, Hashem helps the Jewish people win against Og. They defeat him easily, and they get to keep his whole land. His last words are, Og! That was a joke. We don't know his last words. It's a joke on his name. So we defeat Og, we get his land, and now, thanks to winning these two fights, the Jewish people are so close to Israel. They are camped just across the Yarden River from Israel. They can see it. They are so close, they can almost taste it. And that is where Parshat Chukat ends. Shabbat Shalom.